Hello, and welcome back again to another tutorial. And this time I will continue with the Carl Zeiss Distagon 2.8 25mm T-star for Contax Yashica. And as I mentioned in the other film I made about this lens, that it has sticky aperture plates, or would you say oil on the aperture plates. So I will just continue with showing how to do that. And maybe you can see it's not possible. Well, there are some fragments of oil on the aperture plates. Maybe you can see it in here. There are tracks of down there on the blades. Yeah, it's better maybe there. So actually how to do that? Well, to come into the lens and the aperture plates, we need to take out the whole front lens group. As I remember, no, as I mentioned, I use those rubber cones really handy, and one need to unscrew the front lens group, and it's so really handy because there are no notches to put in a lens spinner. So I just use those cones. Absolutely a great thing to when working with cameras and lenses. When just flip it over and let it fall into your hand and have a good grip on it. So this is the front lens group. It has a name ring, but and it maybe could get off, but here the whole lens group come off in one piece. You can see there are tracks of green thread lock, so it might have been maybe difficult to get off. Now the next thing is just write a note so people maybe can get it more easy to understand. This is why I said it's more easy to take out the back lens group here with a rubber tool, and it's easier because then there is no disturbing parts here for the to get the aperture assembly out, because the back lens group, as you can see here, could get in trouble with taking it out. I also need to unscrew the back mount here and the the next part. So we just need a JIS screwdriver 00. This is a PH 00, but I have just filed the pointy tip with a needle file, so it's actually fits much better into the screw head. So of course you can buy a YIS screwdriver, Japan Industry Standard, or JCIS screwdriver, which will be the Japan Camera Industry Standard. But you can also make it yourself, which is actually quite easy. So set this to something 22, the aperture ring, and then it will be easier to take this ring out. Now next there are 4 screws around here which we also need to undo, and if they sit too tight, one can actually use some nail polish remover and a cotton bud and just dip, we can just show it. If the screws are way too tight, just dip a nail polish remover, or you could use acetone, would be the same, and just let it suck in and stay some minutes, and then you can easily, possibly easy, unscrew it. Of course, I've been into the lens before, so it shouldn't be that tight. And I also use when I am done with the lens, when I screw all those screws in, I will just use the Loctite 222, which is the purple thread lock. It's the softest and in my opinion the best for those tiny screws. Now here we are, and I can just lift out the back here without any problem. So it is, and I also have to take out the aperture ring. It will make it easier, but before doing so I will undo the back lens group. So by setting it to infinity, it will be better to access the back of the lens group, the back lens group, of course. Well, it could be difficult to unscrew it with a rubber cone just like here, but if it is so, one could just use those very, very sticky gloves which is good for gardening or other things, and it's really, really sticky. So together with this one, it's maybe work fine. No, it sits too tight. Well, I didn't tighten it that much, but let's see how it will go with the gloves. Yeah, it has a really good grip. So get those in the garden center. They have different colors and different kind of stickiness. So no problem with that. So just take that back lens group out, and here it looks like. The glass elements in this lens is actually okay. It was just the focus and the sticky, oily aperture plates. Maybe you can see it here better. There are tracks of oil on the blades, and yeah, here you can see it much better. It's really so let's go in further into it. The 2 screws here I need to undo, and before taking out this part here, the aperture ring and the tiny part connected to the curved here, set a small mark here. You maybe can see I've already done it. So here on the aperture ring itself, but also on the part that is connected to it. So you know where this ring sits before you assemble it. So I just put on some Loctite in the movie before, and you can see here it goes loose, and I should set the lens to not to infinity but to all the way to near end, which will be here. And then it's easier to take that part out here. You could just push on this one. It will make it easier, both when you take it out and when you put it in again. Something like that. And so there it is. So, and now we're almost here. I can just take out the aperture ring itself, and so it will be, the next thing is to unscrew the retaining ring in here, the brass retaining ring, which has two notches, one here and there. And just to be sure, I set a mark down here. I found out it's not necessary, but just in case, set a mark here and here in line, so you know where this the aperture tube or assembly, when you put it back into the body here, so you know where it goes. Now I will just use my old compass, which I have filed and grind, so it works for lens work. And I'll just put it in here, there, and it just has to so there it is. And then I can just unscrew it, and then it should be actually quite easy to unscrew. So, and then take out the retaining ring, and then we actually close to actually get into the, I will just use my rubber cone here and put it in here and press a little, and then okay, hold on a second. It will be easier, just pop it out like this. You see, if the back lens group was on, you couldn't do that, because there's not space enough to have the lens there. So this is how it looks, and you see the connection down here. It is a bit sticky, not sticky, but it goes out of place. See, and one thing to mention, if you set the lens to near end and you shouldn't go back to infinity, because it will press on this lever here. If you want to do that, press here, let it get all that way, and then you can set it to infinity. So that's it, part of it. Now it's the actual lens, no, the aperture assembly. And I want to take the whole thing out here. But before doing so, there is a spring up here and a pin which I need to take out, so it's more free. You can see it's too slow. So the pin here has to come off, and let's see how it's done. I need a flat screwdriver. And probably also a tool. Okay, then I got just a screwdriver and a wrench, a plier, and a good screwdriver which will undo this. And I see one screw here is actually the one screw, one of the screws. There are three around here, one there, two set screws there, and a bigger screw that hold the plate here that actually hold the aperture plates in place. So just unscrew this part here. Because if I didn't do that, I couldn't take out the part that moves here. So just take out the, where's my tweezer? Here. Take out the little spring so the screw will not fool around. It could be. Something like that. And the screws are here. The screw are here. So, fine. And I think it's better to just take the spring out so I know where it is. Now, then we are closer to what we actually have to do. Now, an important thing is to set a mark somewhere. I'll just see how, yeah. I think I will set a mark here. And so I know exactly where this ring has to sit. So my aperture is correct. You will not at all see this on the picture, so there is no problem with that. But then you will know where things sit when it's correct. So now I'm actually ready to unscrew this part here and get into the plates. And there is one. Just so you remember, you could set a mark here, just maybe a small cross like this, so you know the the crosshead screw has to fit there. Of course, it's close to the aperture assembly here, so it shouldn't be a problem to remember, but just in case. I haven't found a repair manual for this lens at all, so I just do what I can to remember the things here. Now, let's see if it's possible to loosen. Yes, it is. Again, they have used some kind of thread lock here, and maybe it's dried out over the year, but no. So I better use some nail polish remover. Just use a little. Something like that. And here, of course, too. It should be it should be enough to unscrew it right now. So, and I mean, just loosen them. It shouldn't be necessary to take out the screws. Should just let them stay in. Of course, you know where they are, so it's better. Unscrew this part. It's a bit tight. No, here it comes. And here we are. Now, set the aperture to full open. I mean, as open as it can. Something like that. And then it should be possible to lift this ring out, or maybe if it's possible to lift here on the pin, and maybe it was not possible. If I hold here, then it could be, then I could just put the spade in here, and that was strange. It's way too tight, so let's see. If I can take out this. Maybe the blades will come with me, but I don't know. Let's see how it will go. Yeah, here they come. And of course, so there's not so much, but you can see there's still some oil on the edge of this ring. So let's see how they will know where they sit. So now, okay, I can see it's the ring here. It's not possible to just take out. All the plate has to go in, and then this ring has to come in at last. You see, there's a mark here. I have a mark here, so I know where this thing will go in. And what to do now? Well, I could unscrew the I would guess it's possible to do, so I will just give it a go to take out this ring here. But also so I can fully clean the aperture system, because this part is also a bit sticky. So by doing so, and tighten the spinner. Now it works pretty good, this one, and I don't think there shouldn't be any problem by undoing. But let's see if it's okay. It's okay, fine. So unscrew this, and don't hope there is any ball bearing. Okay, there isn't any. Good. So no problem. And then I can take out the ring here. I mean, it should be possible. So, see a lot of oil. And of course this sticky oil, this old oil, it should run dry. I mean, this part should run dry. See this, the part here, which has a corner here, where it's filed, it has to be like, it has to be something like that, and not the opposite side. So when it's correct, it's sit like that. Now, time to do some cleaning, and I will just use isopropyl alcohol 99%, which I think is best. You probably can use 70% or something. I just use what I have. Don't even think about using acetone. It will simply destroy the aperture plates because it's plastic. So you could also use lighter fluid. It's also good, but isopropyl alcohol is just, yeah, I think it makes the job very good. So let it stay there for some minutes. I can also drop this part in here and let it suck into the alcohol. And what about the ring here? Yeah, they will all take a shower. This tiny Okay, there. Everything goes in that one. That's fine. I'll just be back in a second. And then we do the rest. So this has been into the isopropyl alcohol, and then it should be easy to just dry. Okay, do you mind coming out? Well, better to use a tweezer for this. Those small things. Okay. See, dentist tool is really, really good for this kind of work. I mean, it just makes things a lot easier to work with. So, it's absolutely dry. Then the whole part here. And then, yeah, it looks much better. Because it will also be oil free after this small treatment. And completely free of dust and all that stuff. I mean, almost. It's important to get all the isopropyl alcohol out. It will just evaporate quickly, so there is no problem for that. Now, so it's clean and ready to be filled up with blades and all the other parts that is needed to get that lens working again. And I can see they have used some thread lock. There's just a tiny mark of thread lock there, so I will just add a little. Of the Loctite 222. Just add a little on a piece of paper. It's just a tiny amount that we need. And That should be enough for that. And then put the ring in. This ring that actually moved the blade need to go in here. And I'll just add this ring. And hopefully it will work. Yeah, I think so. So, there it is. And it shouldn't be too tight, so don't tighten it too much. I'm not sure. Yes, it will just work fine. And no oil, not at all. Tighten it gently and this will move freely. So that's it. Now the the outer ring, or the top ring, the front ring, I don't know what the name is of this, but I know how to put it in. Just try it a little. So it's absolutely free of any oil tracks. Wow, it looks fine. So it's ready to put in, but of course we have some blades that I need to dry. So I'll just take them out and put on the lens gloss and let them, no, I'll just dry them right out. I think it will be really good. So, fine. And next one. Don't dry and don't push too hard on those blades. They're very thin, but of course you also need to dry them. So, fine. Just take this away and move on to the rest of the blades. This lens will actually work as a new lens when I'm done. Without any tracks of oil or grease or whatever. And actually, where did this oil come from, you may think? Well, it actually comes from the focus system, because over time the grease will simply separate. Oh, come on. So and the only place where this old grease will go, well, it's in the aperture system. So and it will never come out again, except you disassemble the lens and clean it with some isopropyl alcohol. So we're almost there. See, there's a lot of great stuff on this blade. Looked like brand new. I think yes. I think it is. So it's great to have a working lens. This is really a good lens for taking architecture and that kind of photography. Here you can see it's actually, come on, out of focus. You can see it actually works pretty good. Now, that was the end of the isopropyl alcohol, and then we need to put in the plates. And remember where your mark is, it's there. And oh, there is a small track of something that shouldn't be there. Something like that. And you see it actually looks okay in here. Now, time to put in the plates, and it can be a little tricky. So put in the plates with a tweezer. It could work fine. Oh, just a small hair. But sometimes I've found out that a vacuum suction tool like this one, tiny, will do it much better. And it's just easier to put in. So something like that. The suction tool actually works pretty good for this task. Now the last plate I will put in needs a little space, or would you say something like that. So one need to push one blade away and actually move, just lift this up a little. This blade I will lift up a little and then push the other under it, like that. Now then I have to adjust the blades so they will go into the circle, the holes here around. So they have to be adjusted as something like that. Maybe it needs some attempt before you can get them in. But let's see how it will go. So the mark I set on this ring here, it's there. So it should be possible to put this thing in, and I think I will try the suction tool to put it in. Maybe it will make it easier. Not really. So I'll just use my yeah, let's see what's going on here. Then put it in. Where did the mark go? There. And it probably isn't correct because the ring here under, it's probably not set correct. Maybe it should be fully closed. I don't know what's most easy. But let's see how it goes. Nah, just see like this. Okay. It probably should be closed. So when moving the blades, yeah, I would guess so. Let's see. Sometimes it can be a little tricky, but I think it should be fully closed. Okay. I haven't think about that in the beginning, but of course I should have done that. But well, one learn new things every day. So it'll be something like that. Of course it will work when I'm done, but at the moment just need to put this in there. See, sometimes it can be a little tricky. Or maybe I should just put this over and then move the ring back to the normal place. It should stay. And a dentist tool, spade. This is a great tool for working with those blades here. There's any screws that is not fully loosened. That and the other one. Yeah, you see, it was it was not something like okay. Oh, I need some change of memory card, so just wait a second. Okay, continue. What I think is to, I actually think I will just take out the ring here again and so. And set the blades to full open. It probably will be easier to put in. Then I can just adjust it after that and see what how it will work. Okay. Well, you see, sometimes it's not easy to work with those systems, and there's not really anybody to ask about this, how to work with those things. that was another one. Some of those blades can be pretty annoying to put in. Okay, we have a tool. Probably have a tool here. Could be used for that. Something like that. And good. So, wow. Now it's actually almost done. But let's see how it will act. As it should. So it's something like there, and not fully closed, but it will be there, something like that. And then I just need to tighten the screws. And this side over here. So the thing is, like, one need to adjust the blades and the ring in place, and that way get it to work. So it's actually pretty good in my opinion, but let's see how it goes when I put the bag in. Maybe I need to do some adjustment. I don't know yet, but at least the blades are in. Maybe it's too much closed, I don't know yet, but I mean, the blades really look like they are new. So, and the pin and the spring needs to come in. This one just needs to come here. Oh, gosh. And there it is. Something like that. And then the pin here, which will be sitting like, I will just add it into the pin here, and then after that put the spring on the screw. So something like that. So it's still, I mean, loose, and then I can hopefully put in the spring here. I probably need to adjust the inner ring here, this ring here, so it will work better. But where did it go? There. Unscrew this. Unscrew this. I mean, loosen. Sorry. And then I should also just loosen it a little. And then it should be possible to open it a bit more. Let's see where the pin. Has to be opened a bit more. And of course it's my mark was correct, but I was just not putting in. So it would be something like that. And it's okay with my mark. Maybe it's a little too much open, in my opinion. Could just make a pinhole camera. So, and the two set screws there and there, and then we're done. So it actually ended up to be fine. Of course it should be. It has been there, and it can, and it's possible to assemble it again. Now so the only thing I need to do is putting in the focus system here and all the other parts. Where did it go? This tool, set it on here, and then this pin is set there. It has to go up there. If not, it's wrong. So you probably can see what's going on here. And move this ring, this pin, this lever a little, and just put it in. Lift out the tool and the retaining ring goes in. So it's not that hard, but sometimes things are not going as expect. And therefore it's good to make a film about it, or take pictures or whatever. So one have a kind of a backup. Now things are actually almost back to normal. Then the aperture ring goes in, and be aware if you have the little steel ball in place. It's good when people do filming, when they can just take out the steel ball and move the aperture ring for that, and then set the focus to 0.25, because it will be much easier when putting in this part here. And just load a screwdriver with some little amount of thread lock. It dries out. So just a tiny amount. That's maybe more than enough. And then add this part in. So when putting it in, just push this all the way in, and then put this part in, and then just add one screw so you know where the part is. Something like that. And the other one. And it should be something there, and then adjust this pin here. See, move this pin here to sit all the way over there in my lens. Maybe it's not the same in your lens. It's therefore I set a mark here. It's your only backup when working with lens repair or other kind of camera repair. So well, it's actually great. So the only thing I need is to put all the things back in again. The back here will go in like this way. And of course one could use some drops of tiny drop of thread lock. Normally there is 3 screws on the, but here there are 4. So it's not that. Hey, standing screw. Well, I actually missed one point, and that was the back lens group, but I can still put it in and tighten it with my rubber tool. Just find the thread there. And then screw it in. So, and then the mount, set it to something Aperture 22, and then add this ring, tiny amount of thread lock. And we are almost there. Of course the the front lens group has to come in too. Then we're done. So it's not that hard to work with. I mean, it's Carl Zeiss and it's fine lens, but yeah. So, and the front lens group. Just check for hairs, and there's some. And then the front lens group. Where's this? Here. Then just there's nothing there. Looks fine. Put it over. And then find the thread where it should go in. It can sometimes. Yes, there it is. And there it is. Now, that was all for now, and hope you can use the info here, because then it's now a fully working lens with a oil-free aperture. So thanks for watching. Bye bye.